Hello, yay, my mic is working. How's everybody doing tonight? The night owl is ready to dip some cheese. So I hope all my night owls come and join me. Uh, I'm demonstrating wax dipping cheese. I've been a candle maker for 20 years and I love wax and I love textures. So this is something that I've played around with before at the candle cottage when I poured candles. I experimented with learning encaustics, and that is basically painting with wax. And so we're going to dip the cheese. The idea is part of my prepping, trying to get my food prepped to have supplies, a year's worth of supplies for my family. Well, I want y'all to see the cheese, so let's see. Sorry. Okay, so y'all gonna hang out in the kitchen with me tonight, and we're gonna dip some cheese and chat. This will be posted afterwards, so some of you may just have to come and watch it later. So let's get started. I'm gonna probably have, I don't know where my wireless headphones are, so I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it where y'all can see everything I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna have to take my headphones off a couple of times to get some things behind me. So I've got cheese here. It's about 4 pounds. This is going to stay, the shelf life in my fridge will be 6 months to a year, depending on how much your family eats in cheese. You know, you could do a 6-month supply, a year supply, 3-month supply. This is fun. I know it's a lot of extra time, but it's meant for fun. And then at the same time, you're getting something to put in your fridge that is there and ready for you if you ever need it, and throughout the year while you're in your kitchen. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the wax behind me real quick. Sorry guys. I'm going to let it stay warm on the stove behind me. Okay, here comes the wax. Now this is very hot. I hope y'all can hear me at the moment. This is very hot, so you want to make sure you're very careful around children. Do not let them get around this. I'm gonna grab paper towels. Paper towels. I'm on my last roll. Oh my goodness. I panic when I get on my last roll. Okay, here I am. Well, all right, so first thing we're gonna do is wipe the cheese down a little bit. You want to let your cheese come to room temperature for at least 12 hours. So I did put mine out and let it come to room temperature. I put it in my oven on this tray while I went to work, and let it kind of come to room temp today. And it kind of gets a little hard, which is good. You want that hardness on there. But I do notice that it is sweating just a little bit, and that's okay. I'm just gonna wipe this down. One technique you can do when dipping is you dip it straight into the pot, or you can use a brush. It's not recommended to use a rubber or plastic brush, but that's what I have. I talked to the guy at Bed Bath & Beyond, and this is actually for a grill, and so we both felt like it would probably be okay. So y'all are gonna find out with me right now if it's gonna melt my brush. Hoping not. Okay, so what you want to do is put two thin coats of wax on your cheese. You don't want to get it too thick because you want your cheese to, I'm not really exactly sure. I do know that it affects the cheese if you get it too thick. So you want 2 thin coats. So I'm gonna do 2 thin coats. You're probably gonna get a few holes, but that's what the second coat's gonna be for. And the wax has it's a ingredient in here that prevents molding. So that's what preserves this. Okay, so this brush is doing good. I'm happy with it. I'm still not sure though if I'd be happier dipping it. So we're gonna just do this together. This is my first time with you. So we'll learn together. In this pot, I have designated this pot. It was an old pot that Tony and I had when we first got married that's been in the attic. We have a nice pot set that we use now. So I know I won't be using this. I like the look of the dip because it's a little smoother. The other end is a little rougher. So I think I like dipping it better. So we're gonna dip the other side for the second layer. And it does dry pretty quick. So you can pretty much put your hands on that other end now. Dip. And it's done. And this, I'm gonna show y'all what kind of cheese I've got here. Now I gotta dip this other side because it only got one coat. Dip. And it's done. Pretty. Look how pretty. Okay, and I'm gonna share with y'all while we're dipping and talking where I got my wax, who to contact for that. So I'll be giving y'all information along the way, so hang with me. One thing I'm gonna grab real quick out of the fridge is my pan that these cheeses are gonna go in. So I'm gonna keep dipping them as I talk to y'all, place them in the pan, let them kind of dry. And then we're gonna get into painting them with Encaustic's wax, little roses on them. 1 second. Grabbing my pans. I got 2 pans. And the good thing is they've been chilling in my ICEBOX, so that's probably gonna help the cheese wax to really kind of harden. Because it is soft right now. It's got a cure. Okay, so I'm putting it in this pan. I'm just gonna stack it like this. Okay, so we'll keep going. You wanna wipe your cheese. See if y'all can see okay. I know my head's cut off, but I want y'all to see what I'm doing more than anything else, so. Okay, so we're gonna dip. I got, how many pounds? I got 3 pounds of wax in this pot. So you want it to be deep enough to be able to dip your cheese. Oh, and this cheese that I'm dipping is, I love this brand because it's a natural cheese. This one's aged over 60 years. And there's just, I believe they're, trying to see where it says it on here. Okay, made with milk from cows, not treated with artificial growth. Yes, that's what we want. I got this at Sam's, 2 packs. So this is 2.5 pounds. So I got 2 packs. So we got about 5 pounds of cheese here. We'll probably go through this cheese in 6 months. That's my guess. So, you know, I spent about $20 on my cheese because I think they were like $10 a piece. Look how pretty. So we got 1 cup. Oh, I touched that one a little soon. That's okay. We still got to dip it again. Okay. All right. Here goes the second dip. So many that know me, I'm a night owl. I come alive at night. It is 9:50 p.m. Texas time. Central time. It's pretty. Oh my goodness. And this, I'm going to share again with y'all who I got the wax from. I'll show y'all his card in a second. But he also carries, let's see what color. I think he had white wax, maybe yellow. I don't remember. And I think he had black. I liked the red, but doing the roses, the colors that I picked out for my roses are going to show up, I think, okay. I was concerned that maybe they wouldn't because it's such a deep red here. But I think it's going to be fine. And then another thing about dipping the roses, we're going to talk about what I'm using, what type of wax I'm using. Let me grab Steve's, I think it's Steve, y'all. Hope I didn't get that wrong. It is Steve. And he is Steve Shapson, the cheesemaker. Here's his cards that came with my wax. And I'm going to post this below the video after I post it, the information to order from him. Pretty cool. He has his pictures on there. I got to see what he looked like. He's been very nice. I've emailed him a couple of times. You know, in candle making, you have to know your melting point and your flash point, because you don't want to overheat wax, because it can combust into a fire. So that's one thing in the factory when we made candles that, you know, we know, and we had our temperature set at certain temps. But with this, I used a double boiler, so you're pretty safe. Never, ever, ever, ever walk away from a double boiler. I mean, from melting wax on a stove, ever. You can have a fire, I promise. I did have one. That's how I burnt my shop down the first time. And it was horrible, horrible. I had left a pot of muscadine grape. I let the wax and the fragrance solidify in my pot. At that time, I was just getting started in candle making, and I was, you know, doing it out of my kitchen, or out of the efficiency apartment in the kitchen back there. And I was using pots like this, and it was during November, and we were in a hurry trying to get home party orders out for the holidays. So I went out there in a hurry to crank the pot back up to get it melting, and I started grabbing Christmas decorations and carrying them back into the house. I forgot about it. So like 30 minutes later, guess what? The whole apartment burned down. We had the fire department banging on our front door. And so you never, ever, ever, ever want to do that. Even if you use a double boiler. I mean, you're basically opening up a flame in your house, so you don't just walk away from it. So be ready to be, you know, focused on this when you start it. Like I said, I designated this pot to my wax cheese. A mold inhibitor. That's what's inside the wax. It's a mold inhibitor. It will keep the mold from growing on the cheese, and that's what helps to preserve it. I don't know why my speaker keeps going out like that. Oh, I hope I have enough battery, because I may have to go get my charger. I meant to do that before I even went live. Okay. There's 2 dip. I definitely like the dip method. And one thing that I've watched a lot of YouTube videos learning this myself, so I'm here to share it with my people, and hopefully it'll continue to, you know, go to the next person. But learning from different people, you learn different things. There was something that I just thought of. Let me think what it was. Oh, goodness. It'll come back to me. Something that I picked up from watching another. I believe this lady said, when you go to eat the cheese, you pull one. These are going to be in the refrigerator, in my vegetable drawer, in these pans right here. Hello, sorry, I hear my speaker going off for some reason. So when you take one of these out, you basically just peel the wax away, and then use the cheese however you want to use it. You know, whatever you're cooking with, use the cheese however you want to use it, whatever you're cooking with. And I think she said, well, she did say this, but I haven't researched it further to see if it's okay to do. But she said you can put the wax back in the pot. Say I finished this block of cheese and I've got all this wax. Drop it in your pot. Reuse it over and over. So that's kind of a one-time investment, you know. I think that's pretty cool. Here goes a second dip. And one of the ladies, she had a white cheese, and then she had her mild cheddar. Her mild cheddar being, you know, in the ICEBOX for 6 months or longer, the longer it stayed in there, it actually turned into a sharp cheddar. So let's see what mine was. Mine is a mild. And I think that they had a sharp, but I bought the medium because I should have bought the sharp, because then it would have been extra sharp. Oh well, that's okay. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing any information that I learn with y'all, passing it along. These are really looking pretty. Super happy. This would make a neat housewarming gift, like for Christmas. If you're going to a party and you want to bring something to the host or hostess, you could make up a cute little cracker and cheese tray. The Dollar Tree has the cutest silver platter trays. That would be really cute. You know, with the roses painted on the cheese, and have crackers with it and give it to the hostess with maybe a bottle of wine. How fun. Oh, and what I was saying, the lady I was telling y'all I was watching that was dipping like a white cheese and a cheddar. She cut her white cheese into triangles, I believe. And then the cheddar she cut into squares. That way, she knew when she went into the ICEBOX to get one or the other, she knew which was white, she knew which was the cheddar. So I bought the same thing, both of my blocks, so I'm not worried about that. But I thought that was a very, very good idea. Okay, we got that one done. Set it in my tray. And I'm just wiping each one before I dip, just to get a little bit of extra. It's probably oil coming out of the cheese. Yummy, huh? I made some tomato vegetable soup tonight with chicken. It's on the stove. My wax is actually starting to cool down a little bit, but we're doing okay still. If I get to a point where I can't, see, it's getting a little thick because it's cooling. You probably want it to be thinner. That was a double dip too, so. Goodness, it's slipping. This one's not going so well. But it's okay, we're gonna make it work. Do it again. I think it's because the wax is cooling. So I'm gonna stop at this point, dipping. Yeah. And I'm going, so see, it's nothing, it doesn't mess anything up. I mean, that's the thing with wax. You just wouldn't believe the things that went on in my factory. So I'm going to move on to painting the flowers, and then I'll let you guys get to bed, and I'll finish up and get my kitchen picked up and get Tony's lunch, his soup packed and ready to go. I've already washed my hair tonight. It's actually still wet, so I am ready to wind down myself. Okay, so I've got 3, you can buy some cheap paint brushes, okay? You don't need anything expensive because you're going to be dipping these in hot wax anyway. Now, the setup that I have tonight, I have a better setup in the barn, but I didn't want to, I couldn't, and I didn't have time to get up in the decks out there. It's tucked away in a box somewhere. So, another thing, you know, when I did Encaustic painting at the Candle Cottage, I wasn't painting food. So I tried to keep in mind keeping everything non-toxic and food safe. So I ordered some white beeswax pellets, but my food dye was not wanting to blend with it. It just was not working out. So I happen to have a box of crayons, which is what I used at the shop. I used crayons to do Encaustics painting. But I looked at the box, and it does say on here, let's see. All Crayola art materials are non-toxic. Okay, so I'm gonna go for it. We've got a seal with the wax. I don't think it's gonna absorb through it to the cheese if there was any kind of reason not to use this on a food. But I do not recommend, if you're candle making, to mix pots, utensils, or anything that you use for candle making with food. Okay, so we got a seal here, and we're gonna just hope that we're good and me and Tony are safe eating this cheese, which I think we will be. If I was worried, I wouldn't do it. Okay, so my brush is already stiff, okay? So all you gotta do is stick it, and here, let me explain this real quick. the setup that I have that's out in the barn that I didn't have time to find or pull out, it is basically a griddle that you plug in. It's a flat griddle, like my griddle behind me, but it's one that you plug in. And I have a ton of these. It's hot. Hold on. I have a ton of these little metal. You can get these on Amazon, or I mean, you can get anything on Amazon. So you might even get something like this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but they're little metal containers because they have a lid to them. The lids were clear. I don't know where my lids went. Oh my goodness, I gotta sneeze. Okay, so you're gonna take your crayon, you're gonna get all the paper off of it, okay? And I just broke it into pieces and I put it into my little, I put it into my little pan. So I've got pink, okay, we gotta get this going. I'm hoping my battery's not about to go. I got pink, I got lime green for my leaves, and I got some yellow just to add a contrasting color, and I have some white. So we're gonna do some little yellow and pink roses. We'll do some green for the leaves, and an accent color is the white, like a highlight. So I'm just kind of stirring it. I have it in a double boiler right now that happens to plug in up here on my counter. I'm just thinking here how I want to arrange this. I may do some tiger roses. Can y'all see okay? And I'm just making little circles and making it as, big as I want it to be. So when you open your drawer, how pretty is that gonna look? What? I'm gonna do another one over here. Probably do 3. And the third one, I'm gonna make it a yellow one. Y'all see? Okay, so that's that one. Get my yellow. My stiff, because it dried up on it, you just set it in the little yellow pan. It's warm in here because I've got it, like I said, heated right now. Just Google Encaustics and go look at images, and you'll see different people's setups on what they do to melt the wax and to keep it, organized. Okay, we're going to place this yellow rose right here in the center. Okay, now we're going to let's go for the green. Let's go ahead and start putting some leaves. And then I'm going to go in and accent with the white. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and lay my white brush in there and let it be warming up because I'm having to sort of melt these down again. It don't take long, but I don't know how much battery I have left, and I want y'all to see the finished product. So, okay, so we'll put a leaf here. Let's bring it out to a point. I meant to grab a couple of toothpicks because I was going to try to do like some vines with a pointed toothpick, but I may be able to do it with the end of my brushes. Isn't that pretty? You just want everything to kind of fit together like a little bouquet. Okay, so I'm going to leave the brush in there for now. I don't think it'll hurt it because it's not like it's flaming hot. I'm going to get the end of this brush. I'm not sure though. I'm going to have enough to dip in. Yeah, it's working. How cool. You just have to keep going back for more dipping. Okay. You can even just do the pointillism. I'm just kind of point tapping, and it adds another layer on there. Okay, let's get the white and do some highlights. Hello, hello. Oops, sorry guys. I don't know if it's because I move. I lose connection with my microphone. Okay, we're doing some white.